Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Full Court Cleveland on the FanDuel Network, and we are live from the Burke Lakefront Studios.
Hey, very nice.
No, I did it wrong. Burke Lakefront Big Play Studios.
There you go. At least you got the Burke part.
My partner is Sam. I am Rafa, and we are still looking for where in the world is Boobie Gibson. Well, but hey, we're gonna start. Boobie's getting treatment. He should be on air with us soon. I don't know if he's still celebrating the fact that he got to see his guy KD in town the other night. But in the meantime, welcome to the show, Sam.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. I'll bring the three-point shooting. It won't be nearly as efficient as Boobie, but, you know.
Well, you don't have a good goosey?
I don't have. Yeah,
Goosey?
I think so.
Well, we won't try
I
to
guess
be
if I'm
Boobie.
going to be a three-point shooter, I need to learn what that's called.
It's so hard to be Boobie. It's already almost Thanksgiving, and Boobie is still fulfilling his orders from when he played Valentine's Day.
Yeah, what was that called?
Date or whatever, kind of like Boobie pimping himself.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it
On
was.
today's show, we'll get back on the segment before always producing Ryan gets upset at us. On today's show, we're going to talk about Cavs. Obviously, we're going to break some of the Cavs headlines. We do our weekly power rank presented by our friends at Garage Beer. And we'll take a look at some of the top stories around the association. But first, the Cavaliers continue their longest homestand of the season with the fourth of 6 games when they hosted the hot Houston Rockets, and Boobie's guy Kevin Durant was in town with his friend Alper and Şengün and everybody else, and the Cavs lost to the Rockets 114-104. What are your biggest takeaways from that game, Sam? You know, we didn't have Sam Merrill. Obviously, we continue to be without Darius Garland. Max Strus has not made his debut.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson, who is the guy who brings energy, is still in the concussion protocol. So how badly does this offense misses Darius Garland and company?
Yeah, he changes the Darius Garland changes the face of everything they're doing. You know, Kenny Atkinson has said, and this is very true, you can see it on the floor, everybody's got to shift over to almost a new position, or, you know, Donovan Mitchell running the point. You had Naquan Tomlin, who I thought did a fantastic job starting the game. I mean, you know, Naquan is a two-way player, right? So everybody's shifting into a new role. The one thing about Darius that we know is he gets to wherever he wants on the floor. You know, that's and that creates stuff for everybody else. So, you know, that the Cavs aren't going to make excuses, but I will a little bit, because it changes the face of not just your offense, but your entire approach to games. So it's hard to counteract that. Houston, obviously, a very good team. They beat the Cavs twice last year, you know, and without Durant. But they got that big lead, Houston did, and then the Cavs came charging back, and then Houston kind of upped the physicality. So that's where, you know, what we've seen from the Cavs in this early season is, yes, they're missing Darius Garland, but, you know, some of these things that haunted them at the end of last year in terms of not being physical enough, not being tough enough, those things are still around a little bit, and they didn't make free throws in a close game, and that going to kill you every time.
And those are the things that we'll talk about. You know, I want to see if you agree with me, because obviously there is a reason why this point I'm about to make is happening. Our bench has been outscored almost the entirety of the season so far. I think we won the battle of the benches like 3 times this year. So it means that our starters are dominating the opponent's starting 5. But also it means that our bench is so depleted because some of the guys are playing starting roles, like Naquan Tomlin, and then Sam Merrill is out, Darius Garland is out. So we're having problems finding points from the bench unit. When we did put together defense, and offense in that second half against the Rockets, that's when we came back. But that's with Tomlin and CPJ and Lonzo Ball on the court, that they stepped up the offense defensively to kind of feed the offense. So my question to you is also, was it a lack of like energy as a cohesive unit? Because Naquan Tomlin got into a kind of like a little scrub with Jabari Smith Jr. because I think he was the only one playing at that level that the Rockets weren't expecting. And kind of they were annoyed by the fact that he was all over the place. You know, he hit the side of the backboard in one of his three-point shots, grabbed the rebound, slammed it home, and then, you know, stopped Durant a couple of times. And that created a little something that fed off everybody else. But we miss Jalen Tyson's energy. We miss that. So what do you think is more, other than what you just mentioned, where do the Cavs start looking at to correct? We later talk about Donovan Mitchell saying he kind of welcomes that, even though people might think he's a psycho. But where do you see the points of emphasis for Kenny Atkinson and his staff to work with these guys?
That's just it. Probably the energy level needs to be up. You know, Kenny Atkinson before the game said against the Rockets said that, you know, the Cavs are going to have to bring their A game. They're not going to be able to bring anything less than that. And by that, I think he's talking specifically about their energy level and their determination. We watched Naquan Tomlin and the way he went after guys defensively. And like you said, he took that shot from the corner and it hit the backboard and he got the rebound, went in for a dunk. I'm like, did he get an assist on that? But that's I think the point emphasis is, you know, we got to crash the boards. That's a huge thing. They've been out rebounded way too often for a taller front line with Allen, Mobley, and Hunter.
The defensive side for them, just
right?
Rebound.
Exactly. And as you've said before, Roth, the guards got to do their part too. You know, in terms of crashing the glass. So that's a point of emphasis. Bringing more energy. That's the one thing that you can't excuse. It's like, yes, we don't have Darius Garland, we don't have Sam Merrill, we don't have Max Strus. But the guys that are out there, you know, you want to play with you got to play with greater energy, greater determination, and I think that's something that'll probably come in time.
We'll talk about a little more about that game when we come back on Full Court Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell reacted in the fourth quarter after scoring only 2 points in the third and the free throw shooting that Sam mentioned. And we'll talk a little bit more headlines when we come back on Full Court Cleveland.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Smart Choice Windows, energy-efficient products at an affordable price. Visit smartchoicewindows.com today.
Continuing with Cavs headlines on Full Court Cleveland, we still have a 911, or what do you call it when they in military when they send an AWOL?
My military experience is really limited. Yeah, zero.
I know it has like a combination of numbers, but like we still have a call on Boobie, like
yes,
we place a thing on Boobie to somebody.
SOS.
Anybody knows where Boobie is? If it's you, miss, that is out fulfilling, getting your Valentine's date fulfilled, even though it's this late for Boobie, let us know. We miss you, Boobie, and we hope you were at Rocket Arena last night for Kevin Durant's performance.
That was KD.
But just to finish it in the priorities, Sam, from last night, the reaction of Donovan Mitchell after scoring only 2 points, was it more fed by what the defense and what the squad was doing in the third quarter, or was it an adjustment that you saw maybe a little late? And also, you mentioned earlier, the free throws. At the end of the day, when you do the math, it doesn't work like this, like, okay, you beat me, I beat you, so that means no.
Yeah.
But it's over a dozen points left in the free throw line. That's a lot, and that usually gives you past. You know, we always say in Spanish, you get the check afterwards with that.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing that you have to pay the bill after.
Yeah, you know, and nobody expects you to shoot 100%. Kevin Durant even missed one, and he's like a 90% lifer from the line. But you know, when the game got close and the Cavs cut it to a point, they had a few opportunities to keep that momentum going, and they get to the line and miss free throws, and you know, that kind of can take the wind out of your sails a little bit. So that's a biggie. I don't suspect that that's something that's going to last very long. You know, that's an early season type of thing. That's a focus type of thing. And Kenny Atkinson has talked about that. You know, he hasn't loved their focus to this point. Why I think were able to get back into that game was the reasons we discussed, is they brought higher energy and more determination and didn't, you know, they showed more resistance defensively against the Rockets. So, and we saw when they made that run, it was because Kevin Durant made like 2 turnovers in a row. He threw 2 passes in a row out of bounds. So
all because of the way that he was being just harassed.
We was being harassed. We were pressuring them. We were pressuring the guys who were going to receive the pass. So the Cavs did all those things, and they know that. We're not saying anything they don't know. It's not like they know that in order to be successful when it means the most, you're going to have to take it up another notch energy-wise. And again, they were missing their main energy guys. Obviously been missing Max Strus all year, and Jalen Tyson being out hurts. And I thought Sam Merrill being out hurt a bit too, because he's one of those guys who brings that defensive determination and does all the intangibles, of course, along with making shots.
And another thing that has happened to the Cavs lately, and obviously last night was a prime example of it, is that when you're not making shots, it's hard to stop the bleeding.
Yes.
And the Cavs had a chance, a moment in there when we started down, 7-0 run for the Rockets to start the game. Then the Cavs have their own 8-0 run, and then it was like a back and forth. But then we stopped making shots.
Yeah.
And the other guys were, and they were looking for the basket, and that's how you get into that kind of hole. And we got back in the game by doing exactly the same thing, just pressuring defensively, making them miss shots and lose the ball, and then making shots on the other end. So at one point, I thought the streak of 10 threes in consecutive games was in danger. Yeah. Not that the Cavs are even worried about that.
Right.
Obviously, we do, because we try to plan, the story, for the broadcast.
The entire show.
But we had 2 threes in the second half.
Yeah, right. And that again, when you're not making shots, how do you overcome that? And that's what gets you through moments like the game against Houston. It's what gets you through, back-to-backs where you have the Clippers on Sunday, and then you go straight to Toronto after the game, a Toronto team that's looks on the rise and has won in Cleveland twice. So you can't just rely on making shots in those type of situations. You got to bring the intangibles. And I thought the Cavs have done a decent job of that so far in this early season, but you need to do a really good to great job of that.
Well, I told you earlier, Donovan Mitchell spoke to the media, and he was asked if he's concerned about the Cavs' struggle so far. His words, quote unquote, I open quote, "I hate to sound like a psycho, but this is great. Last year we were never mentally tested. The sky is not falling. These are great tests for us and good things to learn from."
Yeah.
Yes, if you solve the problem, right?
Absolutely. And he's right on. Look, last year when they were 15-0, we remember everybody said, well, it doesn't matter until they get to the playoffs. Now those same people are kind of freaking out. And it's like, so does it matter or doesn't it? And I think that the truth is somewhere in between. You want to have good habits and show that you're developing good habits for when it does mean the most in April, May, and June if you can get there. So it's a long way. I mean, Raf, we're going to have another start of another baseball season before this regular season even ends. So just to show you how far away this is, we'll go through the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that this time of year means nothing, because it means, a lot of these games, we see how tight these Eastern Conference races are. These are going to mean something come the end of the year when it comes to seeding. But right now, you want to be able to identify what you're not doing well. That's what this time of year is for. Identify what we're not doing well and work on that while not losing sight of what we are doing well.
I don't consider myself a knowledgeable person when it comes to NBA rules, especially all the new rules.
I'm not super, yeah.
But the Cavs were the NBA fined the Cavs $100,000 for resting a healthy Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley in Miami last week. I thought it was just a way to go around that rule of resting stars, because they had already played in Miami.
Yes.
So if you didn't get to see them the first time they went there, 2 games in a row, it's time to. Kenny Atkinson made the point that the Cavs used that game to develop young guys. They had a huge win.
Yeah, they won the
led
game.
by Jared Allen, but then everybody else contributed. So does he have a point? Do you think that these rules are actually detrimental, or are the teams are just going to continue to do whatever they need to do? Especially talk about adversity and everything. Rest was something that kind of caught with Donovan Mitchell at the end of the year last season.
Right, and I think that they've made a concerted effort to do that, and a strategic effort, the Cavs, with Donovan Mitchell. He's only rested 2 games, and I think the first one he kind of had a little bit of a tweak, something on his leg.
He did have.
Yeah, so I thought that was absurd. Can you be fined if you win the game? It's like you rested your best players. Oh, by the way, you blew them out in the fourth quarter anyway. To me, I just thought, I could see if maybe they lost by 30 or something, then the NBA gets upset. I just think, look, this is today's NBA. And with the style they play, we've heard Steve Kerr talk about this. We've heard Kenny Atkinson talk about a little bit. It's a pace and space era. So guys are covering more ground, particularly defensively. And I think that brings in the element of, there are times that you want to rest your best players because, again, this is kind of, when you're a contender, this is like the Cavs are. You're an extension. This is an extension of the preseason. You're still working on things. As Kenny Atkinson said, I wanted to get those guys some rest. So, I thought that was an absurd kind of. I just don't like the rule to begin with, but
it's hard to tell teams on the road. Because I remember this whole thing started when, I think it was a couple of years ago, when the Warriors were coming from a back-to-back in Boston. Yeah. And obviously you only come to Cleveland once. And they have Steph Curry, Thompson, and Green. They all rested, and we still lost the game, I believe.
Yeah.
After one of the nights that Ty Jerome
went nuts.
Crazy.
Yep.
On us before he became a Cavalier. So I kind of understand the rule.
Yeah.
But at the same time also, it is a very thin line when the league is going to start telling these teams when to rest or when not to rest. So how important are the home fans if you're asking them to sit them at home but not sit them on the road?
Right.
So somebody's going to miss them. And I thought that by them playing in Miami on Monday, they were kind of covered for that market.
Yeah,
so
right,
they could rest on
right,
Wednesday.
right. And you shouldn't be fined if you win the game. I think that should be the rule. But, I'm just glad that I'm not fined and Booby's not fined for not.
Can we just figure out how we're going to? I hope we don't get fined.
I don't think we're fined.
I hope
Maybe
we don't
Ryan's
get fined
got
by,
something in the
by
works.
The podcast NBA.
Yeah.
But the podcast league for resting Booby 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. That could be bad news for our friend.
I know we won't get fined for resting for this next break because we gotta pay our bills with our sponsors. So when we come back on Full Court Cleveland, we're gonna look at what's left for the Cavs this upcoming week on Full Court Cleveland.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Garage Beer. No bitterness, no frills, no IPA, just beer-flavored beer. Find local retailers who sell garage beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Full Court Cleveland. My friend Ryan on the other side of the glass. Booby-less. Full Court Cleveland with Sam and Rafa. And we're going to look at the upcoming matchups for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And one of Sam's favorites, the Cup games, are back at the land, Rocket Arena. And the Cavs will be hosting the Indiana Pacers, who went to the finals last year. Mr. Tyrese Halliburton popped his Achilles during the finals, so he has been missing everything so far. And the Pacers are 2-13. They lost Miles Turner, and they also are without the services of Tyrese Halliburton. Are you surprised by this record, considering they still have most of the unit that took him to the finals last year? And by the way, this is the team that nobody was talking about until like midway through January, when they really caught the wave that they rode all the way to the finals.
Yeah, and that's just first of all, that's one of my big points about the Cavs. Yeah, they're 10-6, which is still good. They're still in the mix very clearly. Kenny Atkinson said this after they went 10-5. Like, well, I'm glad we're not 5-10, but we have some things to clean up. The Indiana Pacers started 11-15 last season, so
absolutely nobody, not even people in Indiana, were betting for them to go to the finals.
No, and you're talking 2 weeks before the finals, nobody was betting on them. So that's the thing about it, is you just got to play your best when it means the most. Now, that said, 2-13. I am a little surprised by that, but not totally, because for a while they were without Andrew Nembhard, who was a big piece of what they were doing. Benedict Mathurin, another big piece. T.J. McConnell, and they had Aaron Nesmith out a couple games. These are the guys that got them to where they were going, and already without Halliburton and Miles Turner, who left. Those guys are back. They won a game the other night. They were 1-13, and they beat the Hornets, and you're starting to get some of your guys back with finals experience. So obviously the Cavs will have to be aware of that. You can't lay down against anybody in the NBA.
Oh, for sure. I think that what we have left in this homestand is one of those like minefield couple of games, because after the Pacers come to the land, it's the Clippers that come into town. Another team that is surprisingly 4-10 at the moment we're talking here, and to me puts T. Lue in a hot seat. Mm-hmm. It's I think Kawhi is still a little banged up. I don't know what's the story with Harden, and how is this team 4-10 with all the money and everything, the new arena and all the stuff they have going on.
A little bit older now. Their best players are injury prone, little older. Harden and Kawhi Leonard, these are the guys you were hoping will carry you. They made some moves. They got Bradley Beal. He's out for the year.
Out for the season,
didn't
they lose Zubac too?
They may have, and then you have, they brought in Brook Lopez,
but which slows them down a little bit more than
they're a very methodical, not great defensive team, and sometimes guys just are past their prime, I remember when Deion Sanders played for the Baltimore Ravens, and which nobody else remembers that, but he played for the Baltimore Ravens, and he was all they could do was return kicks. He was at that point in his career, and one of the best fan signs I ever saw was at Brown Stadium, because of course Deion was primetime.
We're really good at signs,
yeah, that's it. But the sign said when Deion Sanders was out there to get the kickoff, past your prime time. And I thought, that's perfect. And guess what? He dropped
it back
the
for a
kickoff.
touchdown.
No, he dropped it, fumbled it. So it worked out well. But I'm just saying, the Clippers have a lot of big names, but their best years are behind them. And I think that's kind of showing up. And yeah, you're right, Ralph. Ty Lue might be the guy who pays the price for it.
I think so, but at least in a hot seat. And we finished the week with a visit to up north.
Yeah.
And the Raptors were 10-5. Surprisingly, I gotta say. But do you think that the Raptors have our numbers, or is it just that kid from Ohio State caught fire on the first game? And even though, the Raptors won't invite me to sing "O Canada," but I think that's one of the reasons why we lost the game, because the Rocket Arena didn't invite me. Although Liz Armstrong did an amazing job singing "O Canada" and the Star Spangled Banner, but that's for another subject. What's the story with the Raptors? Do they have our numbers? Is it a matchup thing, or is it just the fact that
the one thing
caught them at the wrong time?
Well, the one thing about Toronto is they play that style that Indiana and Oklahoma City play, which is we're going to try to shove around your guards and see how much we can get away with. Oh, they're letting us get away with a little bit. They're a physical, aggressive attack team. I think the addition of Brandon Ingram has really helped them. Offensively, it's freed up Scotty Barnes, who had a huge night in Cleveland.
He always liked to play against Mobley.
He likes to play against Mobley. Yeah, those two like to go at it. Mobley, I thought, won that first individual matchup. Barnes the second. It's just they're coming together. They went out and they got Ingram, and R.J. Barrett's having a nice season for them. They have three really quality wings in Ingram, Barrett, and Barnes. And then you have, good guard play from Quickly. These guys are solid. They're not great. You have a bunch of really solid guys, and you play very similarly to the Pacers and the Thunder, where you're physical and you're always in attack mode. So this is a team to me that's like these guys could be sleepers. They're dangerous.
Jakob Poeltl is back, and Sandro Mamukilashvili.
I can't believe you can say that name. I hate looking at it. I don't even like to look at that name. Yeah.
Mamukilashvili.
It's impressive.
Hey, we'll take a break. When we come back, we go power ranking. Booby's not here, so Sam has a whole runway to go ranking when we come back on Full Court Cleveland. Welcome back, everybody, to Full Court Cleveland. It's time to go ranking. And the Power Rank is brought to you by our good friends at Garage Beer. Garage Beer comes in just two flavors. Remember, classic light lager and lime. No frills, no bitterness, no IPAs, just beer flavor beer. Find local retailers who sell Garage Beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com. Sam and Rafa with you. Ryan on the other side of the glass. And we're going to be talking about last week. If you missed the show, we invite you to go download the Big Play app, and you can catch us there anytime you want, while you're working out, while you're in the sauna, whatever your choice is. And you can also listen to, what's the name of the Village People show? What's the name, Ryan?
That's the Big Factor.
The Big Factor show, also known as the Village People from
I've been
Cleveland
on it.
show.
I just forgot what the name was.
Sam, you were invited to that show. I
Yeah.
have never been invited. That's why people are not
Don't
watching.
thank your lucky stars. They do it way too early.
But we're going to rank. We talked last week about the new rule changing or the new system changing for the NBA All-Star, where we're going to be having a team from the world. And we went over all the possible lineups that the world team could have. So our producer loved the idea, and so he comes back with power ranking the best American-born basketball players currently.
Right now, today. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got to read my text list. I have Anthony.
Oh my God, Sam, prepare for the segment. Woo!
We should just stop, take a timeout, freeze frame. This is the once in a lifetime thing here.
This is going to go viral again. Didn't you go viral the other day while talking on Full Court Cleveland?
Yeah, Amico is prepared.
Okay.
That's the headline.
Best American-born players.
I have Anthony Edwards at this very moment.
Wait, one question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This takes Kyrie Irving out, which is probably not one of the best currently anyway, because he was born in Australia, even though he plays for Team USA.
Right.
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't realize that some of these guys aren't Americans, whether it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's Canadian, and Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey,
Okay.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum when he's healthy, Jalen Brunson. And I also have what's left of Steph Curry on my list.
I think you still have to include him. Who would be the center in that
That's
team?
why I said there's no bigs. Who are the bigs? Evan Mobley, we
Luka
hope.
Garza?
Luka Garza. I don't think he's American. No. I don't think so. I'm sure they're
like most of the big guys, and we were talking about this last week, how most of the big guys are all foreigners.
Yeah. Anymore, they're all foreigners. A lot of the.
I know we're forgetting at least one of them that people are going to be like, how can you not
How
talk
could
about?
you forget? Yeah. I'm blanking. I'm drawing a blank because that was the end of my preparation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that
The young kid from Detroit.
Jalen Duren.
Jalen Duren.
Yeah, sure.
Big kid.
Yeah.
Isaiah
I think you
Stewart.
put Mobley in there.
Oh, Mobley. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mobley and Allen. That's what I mean. I told you we were forgetting somebody.
Well, those two I kind of just assumed, but you look at other teams and it's like, who are we missing?
The kid from Miami, American.
Khalil Ware.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
he's
never know
American.
nowadays because he could be Canadian.
Well, sometimes guys are born in another country and you have no idea.
Like Tim Duncan. How many people think of him?
From the Bahamas, right? Yeah. So.
Wasn't he from the Virgin Islands or something like that?
Clay
Thompson is from the Bahamas.
Is he?
Yeah. This is his father.
I guess he's not on the team.
Yeah. His father is from the Bahamas.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
Former Laker great.
Yeah.
Or
amazing.
Laker very good. And Blazers. He played for the Blazers, Michael.
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we solved the issue with the big guys. We're still gonna have to do like a deeper research on who the. What about on the guard side? You mentioned Jalen Brunson,
Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell. Your wings are Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Tyrese Maxey is the point.
Tyrese Maxey. Yeah. I have
a lot of I got to tell you something. A lot of young guys on the list
Steph.
of the American.
Oh yeah. Well, this is their time. This is their time right now. You know, look, we all love the LeBron era, KD, James Harden. I don't know if we all loved it, but you know, I enjoyed it. So, but let's be honest, those guys they're on the back nine. They're on the 9th hole.
Yeah.
You know, and
they started in the 10th.
Right. Yeah. And this new era. I love this era of the Halliburtons, the Donovan Mitchells, the Anthony Edwards. This is their time, and I just think that these guys are putting their stamp. These stars, the current stars, are putting their stamp, and it's, you know, this other era, kind of the diva era, is being pushed aside.
Well, nice segue by Sam. When we come back, we're going to talk about
Thank
a
you.
dude from the other era that is already made his debut on his 23rd NBA season. And for the first time in the history of the NBA, a father replaced his son in a starting lineup. When we come back on Full Court Cleveland. Welcome back, everybody, to Full Court Cleveland, and it's time to go around the association. We still have not recovered the card that we used to have here. Boovie kind of got it booted, and I think I don't know if it just towed away and we haven't claimed it, or it's just got total.
It was repossessed.
You owe so much money on the tickets. That's it. We're gonna start talking about something that not many people mention. Everybody talks about the Western Conference and how tight it is and how hard and everything, but the Eastern side, Sam, it's really tight. I mean, when you talk about the second place team with the Raptors at 10-5, they're 2 games ahead of the 11th place Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
That could change within a matter of days, and it could be like a nice scramble of teams up there.
Well, Ralph, if you remember, the last 3 years, it's been down to the finish. These last, this seeding in both conferences, almost the last day. In the East, I suspect it's going to go that way. In the West, maybe settled in terms of seeds like 2 through 7, settled like the last week and a half of the season. The East could go down. I think this is going to be really tight the whole way in terms of seeding. So, yeah, I mean, you look at, obviously, Toronto is a surprise early. The Atlanta Hawks went out to the West Coast and went 4-0 without Trae Young. They're playing incredibly well. Lost their one loss in their last 7 games or so is to the Detroit Pistons, who, of course, their last loss was to the Cavs in Detroit. So as we sit here today, there's a lot of surprises, a lot of teams that people didn't talk about. We all talked about the Cavs and the Knicks, and they're right there, obviously, and they're going to remain there. But the Atlantas of the world, the Torontos, Detroit, and we all thought these teams would be in the mix, but they're leading the conference right now. And you look at other teams that were supposed to be at the top, like the Cavs, who are still near the top, the Knicks, who are still near the top, not bad. And then Orlando's struggle seems to be getting their act together a little bit. So, and like you said, Milwaukee's 11th at the moment?
11th, and they got a winning record.
Yeah.
If the season ended today, I always hated that saying until the pandemic came and the season ended that day.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right? So if the season ended today, the Bucks will not make the playoffs.
No, right. And I think it's going to be this way in terms of a tight race all the way until the final, if not the final day, the final week.
Well, JB Bickerstaff and the Pistons have won 11 in a row and are the second-best team in the league behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is 15-1, and just continue to do their things. On the second topic around the association, year 23 for number 23. LeBron James made his debut for his 23rd season this past week. Are we going to see something like LeBron James again? I know the rules have changed. You can no longer come after high school. You have to play a year. The league is changing continuously. I mean, now the Ignite G League doesn't exist anymore, and then players are being allowed to go from the G League back to NCAA. There's so many things changing, moving parts and everything, but is it possible that we're going to see a dude play 23 competitive seasons? Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
There are guys that have played 20 seasons, but not really that competitive comparing to what LeBron has been able to do the previous 22.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we saw that again, to play at this level. Just watching him in that first game, he's not going to be the scorer he was. He doesn't need to be. And in that first game, he came out and embraced that, with 12 assists. 11 points, didn't really look to shoot a whole lot. Got the ball to Luka, got the ball to Reeves. If he plays that facilitator role, he could do that another couple years, So he's not going to be the LeBron that we're used to seeing, but I think that he's evolved to the point where he's always been an outstanding passer, right? He's got guys there who can score. He's going to rack up the assists.
Yeah, I never forget when Kevin McHale was a head coach of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
And, I went to school in Boston, so I grew up a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
And I went and working with the Cavs, went to say hello to him and chat with him and talk to him about, facing LeBron and all that. And I'll never forget what he said to me. And he said, I hope he scores 40 tonight.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have the scoring LeBron than the LeBron that will come out and get a triple-double with 12, 11, and 10.
Yeah.
And just get everybody else involved and get everybody else cooking. And I think that is one ability that LeBron possesses that not many of the superstars before him did.
Right.
Not even Kobe, because Kobe still wanted to be the 81-point scorer. Michael Jordan wanted to be the guy who handled the ball, who did all that. LeBron not only has the ability mentally to process that, but also the ability to do it physically.
Yes.
And I think that will probably make him, I don't know. Now you have Melo saying he wants to come back to play for his son. And LeBron might get a chance to play with Bryce if he makes it out of Arizona after this year.
Yeah, and I think that's if his game was it was a one game of the season, but if his game is like that, absolutely you could extend your career because you have these guys around you. Austin Reeves showed when LeBron was out, this guy can light it up.
Yeah.
And LeBron was getting the ball. And many, many years ago, when LeBron first came in the league, that was what everybody loved about him. Yes, he can take over games, but he's almost a pass-first guy.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best passers the NBA has seen. You talk Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, LeBron James. And
when you talk about you mentioned Reeves, how much he blew up when LeBron was out. But Luka is leading the NBA in scoring, 14 assists. He's another guy that can pass the ball and can actually, but he loves to shoot and he loves to handle the ball. And I think that is something that LeBron will shine, will just be even brighter than what he has been as a scorer. He's still going to have his 40-point games because he loves those things.
Yeah.
And, he got that streak of double-digit scoring games for I don't know how many more than Michael Jordan already. But I just think that he's smart enough to realize that not only that is his best chance to stay in the league, but also his best chance to compete for a title.
Right. That's their best chance if he's their third scoring option.
Mm-hmm.
But if he can distribute like he did the other night, which he can, and I'm sure he's going to continue to do that. And you're right. There's going to be a game every once in a while where it's like, oh, yeah, that was the LeBron James. Yeah, that was the LeBron James we knew. But I think he's smart enough to know that their greatest success is if Luka and Reeves are doing the heavy lifting points-wise and he's the complimentary guy, but setting everybody up because he's the best in the league at setting other people up.
If you can sit on the side outside the 3-point line and shoot the ball and make it consistently, go play in LA because you're going to be getting your shots.
That's exactly right.
With Luka and LeBron driving the ball. Okay, let's switch gears to another topic of one of your favorite topics, the NBA Emirates Cup. We are halfway through the Cup, and I don't know why they're making me ask you this question, Sam, but how invested are you in the tournament this year?
Invested? I think that's too strong of a word. I notice it, and, I think that there's does it serve its purpose, which is to create interest? I don't know. I don't think so.
I got to say something.
I don't think it does.
I don't mean to switch.
No, it's fine. I'd rather you talk about it.
No. And I want your opinion on this because the Cup, for 3 years now, everybody talks about the shiny court. Right?
Yeah.
How you can see the ball and this and that. I think this year they're okay.
Yeah.
It's just a whole concept that you got to adopt and accept. But somebody was complaining to me about the City Edition court. He couldn't see the ball. I thought the court was perfect. It was wooden.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any problem.
I didn't have any issue. I think it was Reflux. Hey, Reflux. What's the name of Reflux show? The
Big Play Cleveland.
Big Play Cleveland?
Yeah.
Come
I've been
on,
there
Big
too.
Play Cleveland. Reflux complaining about the court.
Didn't like the City Edition court?
The court, yeah.
Huh. It's interesting. I guess everybody has a right to their own opinion, but
everybody has the right to my opinion.
They can go with our right opinion or their wrong opinion.
Do you think this tournament is going to be changed for the better when they make and get rid of the Vegas neutral court for the quarterfinals and semifinals and final and just play it at the team that is best
I kind of like the fact that they did it in Vegas. That was like the one
I don't
thing
like the
liked.
ambience, though. It just changes so much.
Well, when you had like Milwaukee Bucks and Oklahoma City Thunder, which don't historically have a large fan base, and you're asking them to go to Vegas, that's
an excuse to go to Vegas. The only place where you can't wait to get there, and then you can't wait to get
well,
out
in the
there
middle of
moment you land.
January, people are working. It's kind of tough whenever they held that finals anyway. I think that
December.
Is it December?
Yeah.
I kind of, people are spending money on Christmas, so I don't think it's a bad idea. The NBA Cup. Look, Adam Silver's trying something when it comes to trying to generate interest. I don't think it's done that. I think it's gotten people like us who are already, super invested in the NBA talking a little more, and we talk about the courts and all that, but. People who are casual fans, I don't think they care about the NBA.
For all of you invested and for all you casual fans that want to get invested like Sam Amico here, the quarterfinals will be playing in Las Vegas December 9th and 10th. December 11th and 12th, the teams that don't make it to Vegas will get either a home game or an away game. Just so everybody ends up with 82. The guys that don't make it to Vegas get 2 games out of it, one home and one away. So December 13th is the semifinals in Las Vegas, which is a Saturday. Then Sunday and Monday, 14 and 15 respectively, that's when the other game gets added to the guys that don't get invited to the don't make it. It's not getting invited. It's earning the And then to your point about Christmas and working, Tuesday, December 16th is the finals in Las Vegas. That's a hard hooky move.
Yeah.
You want to play hooky from work.
Hey, I'm already going to be off, in a couple days to go for Christmas and on the holidays.
Are you going to New York for the Christmas Day game?
Me? No, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm going home for Christmas. Well, we're going to take another break.
You did that last year, and we had to do it
when we come back. Is this the final segment coming up already?
Oh, man.
We go off topic, my favorite topic, when we come back on Full Court Cleveland. Down the stretch, we come on Full Court Cleveland, boobyless for this week. Sam and Rafa with you. Ryan on the other side, producing our amazing show that you can catch anytime you want on the Big Play Network app. Download it to your phone or your computer, and you'll be fine. Off topic, my favorite part of the show. Shedeur Sanders finally came in at the second half. Not only the Ravens stole one of his passes and returned it almost for a touchdown, but he also got his helm broken into while he was trying to make his debut in the NFL. What's your take on that? Are you a football fan? I know you.
Oh, yes, huge.
Okay, what's your take on? I know you're wearing orange too. So what's your take on Shedeur? He's gonna start against the Raiders.
Yes.
In Las Vegas. Speaking of Las Vegas. So what's your take? Do you want to see him on a full game, a full week of preparation and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the man can get us into the red zone, I will hold a parade. Mm-hmm. When's the last time? If he can get us into the red zone without the defense having to do it, I'm like success based on everything else that's happened this year. Have a parade, build him a statue. The guy who got us into the red zone.
I have to say something.
If he scores a touchdown,
I
will. I'll hold a parade right
I
downtown.
want to thank
Mr.
Tom Withers.
Ryan will come with me.
From the you invited Tom Withers, right? That's how you pronounce his name.
Tom Withers, former Associated Press.
From the AP.
Yeah,
he tweeted something that was just like right on when he said, "Hey, Cleveland Browns fans, can we stop screaming at each other over 2 rookie quarterbacks?"
Yes. Tom always brings perspective.
So right on.
Yeah. No, Tom always brings perspective, and that's true. Why are we fighting over quarterback? Shedeur's a football celebrity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Not his fault. But he's a football celebrity, so that can create some divisiveness. Whenever you're so popular, you and I can relate. When you're so popular, people try to cut you down.
But speaking of the airport here, he has the wrong way set up for him. He has the support of the fans.
Yeah.
Now we're just hoping that the offensive line supports him a little because
receivers,
he was getting abused. Obviously, he needs somebody to throw the ball to. But the Browns are playing the Raiders on Sunday when the Cavs are going to be hosting the Clippers. A return of T. Lue. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we have found Booby by then. But if not, join us again on Full Court Cleveland.